Well, quite simply, we're seeking to control the mind, choosing an environment, situations that bring out the best in our thoughts and purposes and being, our values and our hopes. It's greatly facilitated by what we see to be a trust and a love in God, our God, loving and kind and able. And we live accordingly. It's as simple as that. Thank you, Dad. And to live accordingly seems to be ever seeking out that which is good and lovely, awareness of it in your life and around you and in other people's lives, revealing it to oneself and to others, that we have our faith quickened by this appreciation of the goodness of God as we see it, as we attribute it to God, you see. And this trust in God's abiding with us escalates. And we become the lovely person that we need to be for life eternal in the kingdom of heaven. An utter blessing and utterly blessed. By the awareness of the grace and goodness of God. In Jesus terms, in the Jesus story terms, our Dad. Love you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. I mean, it's incredibly simple, isn't it? Think on the right things. How do you do that? You look for the right things. So you're looking regularly by habit, being sensitive to the blessings that you receive, what you take to be lovely coincidences, help, a blessing, how good that so-and-so happened, how nice that such and such is the case, thank goodness so-and-so is the case, etc. We become aware of all the blessings that we have. And that gives us a desire to be thankful. You know, you want to give back because you're so grateful. You're so glad you've received. And if there is a God that has caused this, my goodness, we want to love him with all our heart. So we do. There's nothing to stop us doing that. I mean, quite literally, if he doesn't exist, what have you lost? Nothing at all. You've been in love. And if he does exist, well, that's just heaven on earth. It's heaven on earth anyway, because that's what you've been experiencing. You've had joy, peace, happiness, assurance, hope, blessings, optimism, creativity, understanding, patience, compassion. I mean, everything that that is of spiritual value, of life, of blessing. It's as simple as that. You simply occupy yourself wherever you're aware. You occupy yourself with looking for that which is good and lovely. And the recognition and the noticing of such makes you happy, gives you a gratitude, makes you thankful, motivates you to do and be wonderful. It's our inspiration. The extreme case of which is being in love. Here we're doing it in love with God. Our understanding of, our concept of, our vision of the perfect, wonderful person. We're devoted to the thought of such person. See, when you're in love, you're attributing great things to your partner. And of course it's the case that very often they're not up to that. But you still have the tremendous blessing of being in love. That's what counts. Now, it counts in another way too, because you think so highly of this person and are being so cooperative and helpful to them. They respond back, of course. You know, you're quite an asset to have around. You're, how wonderful, I found someone that loves me and cares. You bring out the best in them, don't you see? Now you find that happens with God. As you devote yourself to your understanding of God, you become aware of all the ways in which He's helping and blessing you, giving you life and opportunity and experience and goodness. You know, food, warmth, clothing, lovely days, time, friends, opportunities, lovely conversations, nice happenings. You become aware of all the goodness that is in your life, that's been in it actually every moment from your birth, or you would not have survived. You know, if you hadn't have had food for a few weeks, if you hadn't have had air for a few minutes, if your heart had not ticked regularly, etc., etc., you would not be here. But it has. By what amazing good fortune. How blessed you are. And your whole desire is, I hope God exists to thank Him. For if He does exist, I love Him with all my being. So I hold this and do, and hope with my whole heart that He does exist. And I'm not fearful that He doesn't exist, because I keep getting confirmation. When I look for the good, I find it. Yet again I've got breakfast. Yet again I have enough money to, I don't know, pay the rent or the mortgage, or yet again my job is still there, or another one is. Yet again it's morning and it's lovely and the day's ahead of us. The days keep coming. Yet again my, whatever it is, partner is still in my life, my children are still there, and now and again they're not, of course. And you think, yes, but what else is He doing? I'm still alive, I still breathe, I have freedom. What a nice conversation I had with so-and-so, how nice it was, good, dear such and such. Isn't so-and-so good? You see, you forever become sensitive to all the blessings that you have. What could be more reasonable than to be thankful for such? And what could be more reasonable that if there is the slightest chance that it's because of someone wonderful in the background, God, if you like, then I'm going to trust that there is. If there is, that's wonderful, I've done the right thing. And if there isn't, well, it's still made my life absolutely wonderful. It's a win-win situation. You think, how convenient? Yes. Well, would you expect of a perfect God? Of course it's a win-win. And would you rather be assured, happy, peaceful, full of joy, hope, understanding, kindness, creativity, wisdom? Isn't that what you'd prefer? Of course. And you've got it, simply by this practice. Wow. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Love you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. Look, I have a little chap I'd pick up from school each day and I'd take him home to his parents. It's his mum, his natural mum, and her relatively new partner, a few years now, a year or so, a couple of years I expect. Anyway, they've got a new baby. Now, he's always moaning. He's always angry that mum doesn't let him have the computer that he wants. He's only 10 years old, coming on 11. He's quite bright. He's just a little boy. But he says he gets very angry with things. And he does. He's angry that mum doesn't let him spend his pocket money the way he wants. She's trying to guard him, of course, from bad media, from playing games all the time, and possibly violent games, I'm not sure. I think they are, really. So he's regulated. He's only allowed an hour or so a day playing. And he's obsessed with not being able to do this and so on. And that his don't know, what do you call it, device for playing, it's not a computer, and it hasn't got the memory capacity or the gigabytes to play the games properly and so on, or whatever it is. He must have a computer, and there's no way he's supposed to have a computer, partly because he's at a Rudolf Steiner school, and of course because his mum and her partner don't believe in wrecking the child's life by being exposed to perhaps wrong pastime, something that's going to be harmful to him. But he, of course, doesn't understand this, so he's angry, and it will build up a hatred, of course, and he'll become alienated from his mum, who, of course, she's a normal person. She has her faults. But, that's why I said to him, is mum a good cook? And he was, he didn't say, but he obviously hadn't thought about it. Well, she makes me, the meals. So what I need to do, I think, with him is to constantly say, for instance, the obvious, are you glad that I can give you a lift home? Because it means mum can be relaxed and have more time, both to look after the new baby and give you some time too. You've got to keep pointing out to him What are the good things in your life? Isn't it good that we drive home safely? Isn't it good that, yes, it is raining, but we're in the dry in a car? We're not having to wait at bus stops or walk home or something. Isn't it a good school? No, it's not a good school. It doesn't allow me to play computing all day, on my games. Yes, but it's there in order to have a good life, isn't it? You need to upskill on living, not playing games. But you've got to find things that he values, Are you glad that you can sleep? Do you have nightmares at night? Perhaps no, not much. Isn't that good? Are you thankful that you don't have nightmares? Dad's, your birth dad is greatly handicapped now. He had a bad experience. Are you glad you haven't had such a bad experience? Are you glad that you can see him to cheer him up? Are you glad that he is so happy that you're in his life? You're important. Are you glad that your mum still visits him to give him support? Can you help in some way to encourage her to be helpful? Can you point out to him how much you appreciate him, that he's your dad? Do you see? I need to encourage him to realize the beauty and the depth of his own life, of all the good in his life. He can only see the bad, which is that he's not allowed to endlessly play games on his device, console, whatever it is, and not have a computer that he wants. And he wants one of an absurd price, $1,500. Yes. And we know the reality that it won't be up to standard when it comes to it. It'll be something, and he could have something better after a few months. So we're trying to rescue him from his negativity, quite simply. If he can become aware of all the ways he is blessed and helped and given life and opportunity, and he comes to value what he's been given, it'll transform him into a grateful, happy, optimistic, assured, creative, kind, peaceful, utter blessing of a person. That's what he needs, and that's what we help him to be. And not just him, of course, we mean all life around us. That it enters into the fullness of life and blessing, instead of an unhappiness, a depression, a negativity, a disgruntled, warring, fractious is the word, individual. We are come that they might have life and have it more abundantly. We are the Jesus story. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Love you. Thank you, Dad. But do you see? The answer was not quite what we thought. The answer, you see, is not the problem of putting our life right. It's the pursuit of putting other people's life right. And in that preoccupation we find great happiness, a great belonging to and part of this fantastic creation that we're in. For we are here as a blessing. How lovely. And that blessing is rolling back on us. But we find we are transformed in the purposing of such. It's the miracle of miracles, you see. I mean, spiritually we simplistically call it a selflessness. We're concerned for others. We have actually not become selfless at all. We've enlarged ourselves to embrace and include those whom God brings to us around us. We become a blessing to them. This is the ideal, isn't it? And it's absolutely within your grasp. It's so simple. We simply purpose to be a blessing. And that solves our own dilemma too. How lovely. Thank you, Heavenly